So I'll be painting this, and there's some grease here that I really do want to try to remove. You can see it. You can see it literally pulling it off without even scrubbing. This stuff, this is Greased Lightning. It's called, that's a knockoff brand, or maybe they bought Greased Lightning. But you can see it literally getting sucked off. It just literally decimates grease. So Greased Lightning is a product that's used a lot in kitchens. Professional, like actual restaurants. And that's what they clean their grills with first. They'll use a metal scrubby, Greased Lightning. That gets all the grease, all the junk, and then they'll do 2 vinegar washes with just vinegar or vinegar water. And then they'll go in with a water bath or 2 water baths. And then that, so they'll go from super caustic to kind of, and then clean all that right off. So let me get some water on this. Wow. You can literally see. See how the foam is orange? That pulled that right off. Okay? Look at that. Sometimes things just need to be washed. But I didn't want all of that grease to affect my paint. Now I know the paint would be able to contain it. I know that it would cover it. But at a certain point in time, it's gonna flash through at the very least, right? And it didn't get it all, but it got, the worst of it. And that's really what I want. See all that nasty, that's all cooking oil. It's almost like a smoker's house. Like that's what a smoker's house ceiling would look like. Now remember, it's just where the stove is. It's not anywhere else. And we are painting it. So we're getting rid of the problem. Okay. But yeah, if you ever want to clean your stove before you get scrubbing hard and all that, soak it for a few minutes with Easy Off or electric, what is it called? Greased Lightning. Any black and yellow degreaser. Even the knockoff brands are going to be good. And it will remove all of that tough oil. Like when we cleaned the fryers, when I was working in the kitchens, when we cleaned the fryers, that's what I would soak them first with the Greased Lightning. Look at that. Okay. You can see where the grease lightning concentrated because it's much lighter. Like there's little spots where it concentrated more. That's the way to do it. So we're just taking a proactive step to remove some of the worst. That way when we paint over this, we'll have a little bit better chance of it not flashing through or at worst making the paint fall off, because that's a possibility as well. You got water-based paint with oil between it and the ceiling, and that can cause quite a bit of problems. Okay. So we'll just keep wiping we'll clean our rag off and wiping it with a clean rag, because we also don't want the chemical there. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Okay. So looking at it now, you can clearly identify where the worst of the oil was and then where it isn't. It's much wider. Now this stuff is where I sanded. Those were big bumps that I had to sand down. But yeah, we got rid of the worst of it, so now I just got to go around and see, I got to do a second wipe, but we can't just blow dust around. We really we need to try and capture the dust, capture all the chips and all that. So So I just get a wet rag. You see all that? You don't want that stuff in your paint. So we're just going to wipe down all horizontal surfaces and get rid of all of the dust, because it literally will give it a better quality finish, simply because there won't be boogers all through the product. Just don't want our brushes to pick up all that junk. We've already dusted, so we know exactly where to go. It's just those top horizontal spots up high. Remember, we're not really trying to clean it. We already did that yesterday. We came back through and we sanded everything. When you sand stuff, it creates dust. So we're just making sure. Yep, see, there's more right there. Just crumbs. Even more right there. Yep. Everywhere will need to be painted, so we need to remember to wash and wipe everything. Even down here. Even in here. So we will have a great shot at making this really nice. Look at that. Okay. Again. Ooh. Ooh. This wants problems. I don't want problems. I do not want to sit here and fight with these windows. I just don't. Okay. Just kicking up dust. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this will give the best outcome for sure. I just felt a little booger right there. Lovely. Right in here. You can feel the dirt. You can literally feel it. Wipe straight away. There we go. Looks like we have some spilt coffee. Wipe that clean. Some things just, you know, once they mix with your paint, they'll create a little splotch there that just keeps forever flashing through. Some substances just flash right through the paint, and you could wipe them off in a second with a rag. So it's best to just wipe them off, and then once it's clean and sanded, then go ahead and paint. Up here, make sure everything's done. Oh yeah, that needed it. Yeah, that needed it bad. Yep. See? All that dirt will create a big rough spot, and it'll get into the paint. Look at that. Stick this down in there. Got it. Lovely. This is where the trash can sits, so you can imagine there's just a couple of areas that need to be hit. Nothing crazy. We've already taped off everything that we need taped off. Yeah, we're looking good. We just wiped down all 3 doors, all 4 windows, all of the mop board, and we're gonna leave the cabinets alone for right now, and we can plan a cabinet paint some other time. We'll figure that out later. But first things first, we are prepped out. Now we need to start covering things with plastic and get ready to open up some ceiling paint, pour it in my handy pail, and start cutting in the ceiling. And remember, when you're doing your body, you're doing your ceiling trim and body, you go ceiling, and you roll that ceiling paint down into the body. Not a lot, just enough to cover that line nice and formally. And then you'll do your trim. You paint your trim really nice, and you'll feather off this line with a little bit of trim on the wall, making sure that it's nice and formal up to that crease and a little bit off to the edge. You really only need like 1/8 of an inch, but usually I feather 1 inch or 2. And then that gives you, once you've done that twice, that you've already caulked all the gaps and cracks before you did anything. And then you do the 2 coats of paint. Then you can come in with the body and you cut your body into your ceiling, into your mop board, into your trim. Cut that in with a brush and then you roll it out. So that's the next step. I got to cover over some plastic because when I roll this ceiling, we know it's gonna get spatter everywhere. So, hey, stay tuned. I'm gonna try to go live right now. I don't know if it's gonna let me, but I'm going to give it a try. Connection right here isn't that great, but thank you for watching if you've got this far. My name's Squanto from Maine, and I'm just a man. Maine man Squanto. Hit that like and subscribe. I'll catch you at the next one. Peace.